Good morning. Today you're going to read a letter by Gandhi to Viceroy Lord Irwin. So let's just look at the background a little bit. Um, I mentioned this yesterday. Mohandas Gandhi was sometimes called Mahatma Gandhi or Great Soul. So that was kind of like a nickname, a religious nickname. He helped lead the Indian drive for independence from British rule. The Salt March protested living conditions endured by the Indian people, including a high tax on salt and a prohibition against producing it independently. Gandhi wrote this letter on March 2, 1930. The British colonial government refused Gandhi's demands. On April 6, Gandhi broke the law at the end of the Salt March by picking up handfuls of salt from the seashore. This action sparked a national campaign of nonviolent protest that led to independence from Britain in 1947. Okay, so that's right after World War II. And during this time, like we talked about yesterday, a lot of nations in the 40s and 50s and 60s were gaining their independence from Great Britain. So it was a trend. So this is a mentor text for the argument that you're going to write at the end of this unit, so in a couple of weeks. So think about Gandhi's claims and his reasons and evidences that he uses to support his argument. And then we're going to compare it to the video that we're going to watch about Gandhi next. Okay, so you have about 4 questions, I think. I'm just going to read through those with you. Highlight the counterclaim Gandhi anticipates in paragraph 2. So a counterclaim means what the other side is going to say, what the other side is going to say to prove their point. So what counter argument does he anticipate, and what counter argument does he make to refute this counterclaim? Gandhi uses antithesis in paragraph 6 to explain his approach. Highlight the 2 forces Gandhi states that his nonviolent force is opposing. So antithesis is introducing opposing forces or opposing ideas to make your point. So what are these 2 forces? And are these 2 forces more alike or more different? And how might nonviolence counter both of them? So how might nonviolence counteract both of them? And are they more alike or more different? Make sure you do a full answer. There's a lot going on there. Next question. Highlight the verb Gandhi repeats several times in paragraph 8. That's sometimes called again and again, or just repetition. When an author repeats something, and it's almost always for emphasis. What point does this repetition emphasize? So that should be a pretty straightforward question there. The verb, remember, an action that he repeats several times in paragraph 8, and what point does this repetition emphasize? And then we get down to the end of the letter, and you've got one last question. Highlight the subject of the first sentence of paragraph 12. So we're going to look back to this sentence, and you're going to highlight the subject. We did a little bit of subject work yesterday when we were talking about passive and active voice, and I said you needed to identify the subject first so you can see if the subject is doing the action or receiving the action. So highlight the subject of the first sentence. How might the tone of this sentence change if the subject were I instead of what the subject is? Okay. How would the tone of this change, or how would the meaning of it even change if it were I instead of whatever you chose as the subject? And what is the effect of Gandhi's wording in this sentence? All right, that's your lesson for today. You should get finished reading this and answering the 4 questions. And of course, if you need any help, I'm here for you. If you're in class, and if you're not, then email me. Talk to you later.